Hello, welcome back to Tony Northeastern. And I just want to explain how I get this cliff face. Peter Shaw, if you ever checked out his channel, he once said that it's the crumpled card technique when I first put it up on video a while back. So let's have a look what we've done so far. Now I'll just try and explain how I have done this. Basically you draw it out to the shape you want, and then you put tabs on the bottom, then you have tabs on the base so you can glue it to your baseboard. And here are the tabs on the base. Now if you notice, I've cut them out into little V's so you can manipulate the card to any shape you want. Right, to get these creases, you just, once you've got the shape you want and you've offered it up in place, so I wanted it to go from the buttress to the pillar here, so I got that shape roughly, and then I just crunched it up in my hand, rolled it up into a ball, and then that's how you get these creases. And then you just manipulate it to however you want. It's a bit fragile at the moment, but it's glued down. I glued it down last night, so that'll be, it's a bit soft at the moment, it's a bit flexible at the moment, which is handy, but once I get the tie-ins in across all three, that'll be solid. So this one is just a support for the hillside, and so is this one at the back here. You noticed I've cut it out into V's so you can, once it's pushed down, it doesn't interfere with the others. And that's just going to make some more tabs up, but these tabs will give me the shape up against the wall. So I'll just glue them in place. Just the same again, making them out of the card, and then that will form the shape going up and then back down. That's it. So I've got a nice curve coming all the way down to this buttress here. And do the same along the wall there, just put a few bits in with the same tabs, then you can marry it all together. But I have put some tabs up against the wall, they're glued in. Right, so the next part would be to glue in some cardboard strips to connect all three of these supports together and then cross weave it. So just a little bit of PVA on the tab you're going to use. Using these little clamps at the start just to get a grip. So that'll just hold that in place until the PVA goes off. What I'm doing is just crumpling up the strips as well, because it gives you contours and shapes. So if I do that one diagonal, there's no set pattern. Clamp it in situ, and these little clamps are brilliant for doing that. So you just leave them on there for a few minutes, and the PVA will get a hold of it, and you carry on doing this until it's covered, and then Okay, I've finished doing that bit, putting the crisscross card on to strengthen the top up. So the next bit to do is to just sprinkle a bit of PVA across the top in a few places and brush it in. Just helps with the first coat of paper mache, that's all. Still a few tabs sticking up, but once the weight of the paper mache gets on there, that'll push it down nicely. I normally do about 3 coats of paper mache, just overlapping it. And if it gets too wet, I just put a dry bit on, which will just help soak up some of the glue. Just use a 50-50 PVA solution. Basically, we've got the basic shape there, so I shall continue this. It's going to take me a while to put three coats on. Okay, 24 hours later, this is almost rock hard. I like the way the shape has sort of formed itself. It's had 4 coats of paper mache, one straight after the other. It's still a little bit damp, it hasn't quite gone off yet. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to paint the top earth brown using acrylic paints. The mixture is a dark brown mixed in with lots of white, so it shouldn't take long to do. It's only a small area. Kind of see the contours forming now as the paint goes on. Okay, we'll let that dry, and then we can start adding the greenery then. Okay, I've just put a second coat of brown on top of the hillside there. So while that's waiting to dry, I might as well make a start on the cliff face. Now, I did make enough paint when I did the original cliff face on the other side, so that there's plenty to go around. It's kind of a ready brick face at the moment, so just put this on. Okay, we'll leave that to dry for a few minutes, and then just as it's drying, we'll just add the 2 tones to highlight all these cracks and crevices, like we did on the other side a while back. And we'll try and get it to look like something like that. Okay, it's been a few minutes, let's see if we can just pick out a few spots and just lighten it and darken it. Alright, I've just added a tiny touch of red to it now. Just adding the dark areas now. So just by picking out the crevices, just highlighting them. Okay, I think it looks more or less the same as the other one. There's the other cliff on the other side. It's still a bit wet yet, still looking shiny at the minute, but that'll go when it dries out. And it should look similar to that one over there. So, next job is to put the greenery on the top. Okay, it's just the greenery to go on now, so plenty of glue. You can still see the paint is just slightly damp still, but that's okay. Must admit, I do like this part of the job, because you're actually bringing something to life when you start adding greenery and what have you. As you can see, I'm using a various of scatters, from blended turf to coarse scatter. Just using a glue spatula to push all the scatter into the hillside. Okay, just to finish it off now, that little area, what I'm going to do now is some watered down PVA all the way along there. Just spread it about a bit. And then just throw in some mixed ballast. Okay, one last look of the overall picture, and all the ballast and greenery has been added to the track side and the hilltop, obviously, and around the plinth where the signal box is going to go. So all that area is now complete. It's still not quite dry yet, that hillside, but it's not a bad likeness to that. So on the whole, not a bad weekend effort really. Look even better when the signal box is there and a few telegraph poles. But yeah, looking good. Right, that's all from me this week. See you again next week. Bye. Thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed what you've seen. Bye.